So did the holidays like ever make you feel like a little on edge before they ever began? You know, like the minute November hits or December hits and you're just suddenly juggling like all these gift lists and events and school performances and family expectations and Amazon carts and like outfits and photo shoots and meal planning and I don't know, trying to make everything magical for everyone. You know what I mean? Oh, and the elf on the shelf. Okay. Well, I know it's a lot. And in my opinion, I think it's way too much. So today, I just wanted to give you a big cozy permission slip that you don't have to do everything perfect this holiday season. You don't have to do the perfect Pinterest version. You don't have to do the perfect Instagram version or TikTok version, not the childhood recreation version or any of that. You know, or what's the new thing? What is it called? The Ralph Lauren version. Don't have to do that. Just the human version, just like the normal human version. Yeah. With like dogs going crazy right next to you, pushing everything out of the way, chaos behind you, kids getting in the middle of your podcast. If you're watching this video, you'll know. If you're listening to this, you don't know what's going on. But yeah, you'll probably hear in the background my kids fighting because they're fighting right now. It's our last full day at my mom's house for Thanksgiving, and then we're back driving back home tomorrow and back to reality, doing all the things that we're doing. So anyways, let's get into it. Yeah. And if you're new here, I'm Xuan, and this is Cozy Notes, a safe space where we talk about all things about cozy living. And this podcast is kind of part of my Christmas series, I guess. I'm not too sure. My December series. I'm making a lot of videos and podcasts, kind of winter themed, Christmas themed. And I hope you join me either on your favorite podcast player or on YouTube. YouTube is going to have a lot more stuff going on than on the podcast. So yeah, let's go for it. So first, the holidays are like totally exhausting when you're running a production and not a life. And I feel like a lot of us, when it comes to the holidays, we're running a production. We're not living life. Like we've turned the holidays into like this multi-week performance where we're just living a performance. We're not living a life. We're doing everything to, I don't know what we're doing, but it's like, are we doing things for ourselves, or are we doing things to show others the luxurious life that we're living or the things that we're doing and saying, hey, look at us. Look at all these wonderful things that we're doing, and kind of depleting our energy and our wallets at the same time. You know what I mean? Like the matching pajamas, like they're cute and everything, but do you need a new set every year? Do you need a new set every year? You know, maybe you do because your kids are growing. Yeah. But do your family does your family enjoy it? Does your partner enjoy it? Have you asked? Do they get a say in any of it? You know, the coordinated decor, like, do you need to change it up every year? The elf on the shelf, like, do you really need to do all that? Because I know a lot of people who are exhausted with the elf on the shelf, doing it every year, you know, and trying to be creative every year. It's a lot of work, especially those that do a lot with, like, they don't just dial it in, like they go over the top and they're very creative with it. And it's like, wow, that's a lot of energy. We don't do elf on the shelf in our house. We're a little macabre, I guess you would say. We do Krampus in the corner. And we only do it for like, 5-6 days, because St. Nicholas Day is on December 6th. So yeah, and Krampus night is December 5th, I think. So Krampus sits in the corner for 5 days watching my kids. That's all he does, is just sits in different corners every night, right? Watches the kids. And then we put our shoes out front on December 5th. And then we wake up on December 6th and see what we get in our shoes. So what do we get? We either get candy or sticks. And hopefully it's candy. If we're good, it's candy. If it's bad, it's sticks. And so that we can get whipped, right? If we're bad. And sometimes it's both, right? Sometimes it's both, good and bad. It just depends. So, yeah, I guess we're a little macabre. So, anyways,
Hasn't Oi gotten candy and sticks?
yeah, some of us have gone candy and sticks in the past. So yeah, but we've got we kind of gotten overboard with the holidays, like treats for all the neighbors. That's like a lot of money, and that puts a lot of expectations on our neighbors. Then our neighbors feel like obligated that they have to give us something, and then maybe they're in a financial bind, but they feel obligated to give something when they can't afford to, and we're just putting other people's, we're just making life harder on other people. And why? Why? I don't know. And then themed activities, especially like for my fellow homeschoolers, like enough with all the themed holiday homeschool activities. I know maybe you feel a little guilty that your kids aren't in public school and doing all the themed activities. But the reason why, as a fellow homeschool or a fellow former public school teacher, in the last of my teaching school years, I was a history teacher. But when I first started teaching, it was in elementary school. And the reason why we did all the holiday activities is because the kids weren't really into they were like kind of excited, and they weren't really into doing schoolwork. So you had to do the activities because they had to be there. You know what I mean? So you had to do the fun holiday activities to keep them like engaged and doing something while they're at school. And so like you don't have to do the holiday activities with your kids if you're homeschooling them. I'm just letting you know. So anyways, I made a video, I think, about that in the past, but yeah, don't have to do it. So just remember, when things are mandatory, it's not joyful. Like if you're forcing your family to do things, they're not having fun. It's not joyful. So you kids don't need like a Broadway level production of Christmas. They just need you relaxed. And that's enough. They need you relaxed and present, and that's enough. Number 2, decide ahead of time what you're not doing this year. So maybe you want to let go of the daily elf on the shelf gymnastics kind of a thing. Maybe your kids are grown up. Maybe you have, like I have a friend whose kids are 10 and 13, and they're kind of too old for elf on the shelf now. She kind of doesn't want to do it anymore. And, it's time for elf on the shelf to retire. It's time for the elf to go find a new family, and that's okay. The kids are going to understand, you can't keep the magic alive forever, right? So time for the elf on the shelf to retire and find a new family with younger kids. So let that happen. Maybe it's you no longer want to buy the matching pajamas because they're no longer sparking joy, because maybe you have teenagers now and they just don't want to wear the matching pajamas because they just do not want to do that anymore because that is so gross, right? Or maybe you don't want the perfectly curated gift baskets anymore. Maybe you don't want to do that because people aren't enjoying them, and it's making you stressed out because it's putting like a financial burden on you, especially with the economy right now. Maybe that's something you don't want to do. And maybe you feel guilty because you think people are going to expect it from you because you've been doing it in the past. But you know what? Whatever. They'll get over it. They're not going to remember. And if they say something or whatever, remember, other people's opinions are not your problem, right? Other people's opinions are not your problem. Another thing, you don't need to host every event. If you want to let go. If you don't want to host Christmas this year, that's okay too. You don't have to host, right? You also don't have to say yes to everything. If you want to let that go, let it go. You can say no. You can also say no to staged family photos. If you don't want to take professional photos this year, that's okay. You can take your own photos. If you want, take your own photos. Or if you don't want to take like Santa photos, that's okay too. You don't have to, right? There's no law, there's no rules. That's totally okay. If you can't afford the extra spending this year, that's okay. Let it go. You don't have to spend the extra money. It's okay to decide what you're not going to do this year and just don't do it. Choose your non-negotiable no's now, like right now. Talk with your partner about it so you're on the same page because that really helps. And then like stick to it, right? Stick to it, because that's the hard part, is sticking to it, because it's easy to feel guilty. It's easy to fall into default mode and do all the things that you used to do. So yeah, decide now what you're going to let go of this holiday season. So the next thing that we need to do is to pick 2 to 3 things that actually matters to you or to us or whatever. Okay. So it's not what Instagram thinks that matters, right? It's not what your cousin does or your sister does or your sister-in-law or whoever, it's not what you grew up doing, right? It's like what actually makes the holidays feel good to you. Okay. So maybe it's like a cozy movie night, right? Maybe it's driving around to see the lights, the Christmas lights, or walking around to see the Christmas lights. Maybe it's baking only one favorite treat, not like all the Christmas cookies, but just one. Like in our family, we bake 3 cookies. Like I used to do all the cookies. Like I just thought that's what you had to do, was just bake all the cookies. But I realized that was just too much and too stressful and too many dishes as well. And so what we do now is we kind of spread it like throughout the weeks. And I'll do like 1 cookie with each child, and we'll do extras. We'll make like 2 dozen cookies with each child, and they get to choose their favorite cookie. And we'll bake 1 dozen to eat that week, and then we'll freeze the other dozen to bake on Christmas night. Yeah. And that makes it so much easier and cozy, and we get to spend like the extra, like cozy time together. So yeah, that's a great thing to do. Maybe what you want to do is have like a slow morning on Christmas and not like a crazy chaotic morning. Maybe that's your thing. Or maybe you want just like a simple like holiday meal and not like this crazy elaborate marathon of a meal. So just think about what actually matters to you and just let the rest go. Just let it go. Like seriously, let it go. And you may disappoint some people. And I think that's okay, because your sanity and your family's happiness and your happiness, like your happiness and your immediate family, because you're going to realize that when you're happy and calm, that affects your immediate family, tremendously. It affects your relationships. It just affects everything. So, yeah, let it go. All right, number 4 is that you don't have to make everything magical. And this is something that we're going to talk about in the next podcast, I think. So, kids kind of find magic in everything, and you don't have to create magic. So, things that my kids find magic in is like being able to stay up late. That is magical for them. Hot chocolate with all the marshmallows they can possibly have in it. That is magical for them. Oh, and candy canes in there. Yeah, magical for them. Being able to toss the wrapping paper everywhere. Magical. Just having like the Christmas tree lights on at night. Magical, right? And just spending time with you. Magical. Like time with you without your device in your face. Magical. What's not magical is being stressed out and having like elaborate activities and going from place to place and being stuck in the car all the time. Not magical, right? Having the perfect outfits and having to like be in all these poses and pictures and all that stuff. Not magical. My daughter gets irritated if she has to take pictures constantly. Like she gets angry. Endless gifts, because not magical, because they just don't care anymore. Like they'll play with the gift for like 10 seconds and put it down, and then that's it. They don't care anymore. It just becomes a pile of clutter in our house. Not magical. And like a decorated, like a home that's Pinterest like a Pinterest perfect home and not magical because, they don't care. My kids don't care. My kids don't care how the house looks. Not at all. And I think it comes down to that magic lives in the simple and not the spectacular. And I think that's something that we need to come back to as a society. All right, next is that you don't have to keep traditions that exhaust you. Just because you've done them all your life, you don't have to keep doing them, right? Traditions aren't sacred if they drain you, right? They are not sacred if they cause arguments. If they cost too much, they're not sacred if they cost too much. And they're not sacred if no one actually enjoys them, right? And they're not sacred if you're doing them out of guilt, okay? Traditions can evolve. They can shrink, and they can disappear entirely, right? You get to build holidays that reflect who you are right now in this season of your life, not who you were like 10 years ago or 20, 30, 40, however old you are. Like, traditions can change, and that's okay. It's not a reflection of who you are. Just because you give up a tradition doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means that you've changed, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? Traditions can change, and I know change is hard, and people are like, don't like change, and it makes them uncomfortable, but it's okay. It's okay for change. It's okay to feel uncomfortable, and it's okay to sit with that discomfort, I think. So I think a lot of people don't like sitting with the discomfort, and so they run away from it, and we don't want to run away from the discomfort, okay? We just want to sit with it for a little bit and ask ourselves why. Why does this feel uncomfortable? And then once we understand, because it's new, or it's because it's something, we've always done and we're not doing it anymore, and so we feel uncomfortable, and eventually we'll get over it, and then we can move on. It's okay. You got it. Next is to create a bare minimum holiday plan, not the dream version, not the Pinterest version, but like the real version, right? The season that you actually have the capacity for, like the bare minimum, right? So a tree that's decorated or not, whatever, a simple meal that you have the time to cook for, one comforting activity that you'll do with your family, and then have rest built into it where you're not constantly doing stuff, right? And then everything else becomes optional, not required. Like, how is that, right? Everything else is optional. You'll do it if it works out. If not, whatever. If you have time for it, if you feel up to it. If not, that's okay. Sounds awesome, yeah? And your kids will be fine. Your family will be fine. Everything will work out. Not everything has to be magical. And number 7, protect your peace, even from well-meaning family. Maybe this will look like setting time limits on visits. Like, maybe you feel obligated or or you have to visit family because your family are getting older and you want to visit them. But you have a lot of people to visit, and you need to set limits on how long you visit for. So do that. That's fine. Set your limits, put in some buffer time in there so that you have like space to breathe in between visits or what have you. But set those limits if you need to. Rotate on holidays if you need to do that, or maybe you visit one set of family during one holiday, another set on another holiday, or maybe you don't visit them all on Christmas Day. Maybe you visit them maybe one on Christmas Eve, another on Christmas Day, or maybe, back in the day, the 12 days of Christmas was from Christmas Eve until Epiphany or something like that. And so that was January 6th or 7th. I don't know. I'm not a Christian. So anyways, you have 12 days of Christmas, it doesn't have to just be one day. Do that instead. Or maybe you do brunch instead of dinner, or maybe you have 3 different meals for Christmas. I don't know. I have a small family, so I don't know. I'm making stuff up right now. Maybe you want to schedule some downtime before or after gatherings. I think I just mentioned that. Maybe you just don't host anything this year. Protect your peace. Maybe you just have a quiet holiday at home and just say, we're just having a quiet holiday at home this year. We'll catch you after the new year. That's okay. Boundaries don't make you difficult. right? They just make the holidays sustainable, and they just give you a little peace and calm, because I mean, that's what it's supposed to be about, right? It's not supposed to be about the chaos and stuff. And if you are a religious person and you're celebrating the holidays because of your religion, then maybe you need to pull in and really think about what it is that your religion is celebrating during the season, because there's quite a few different religions that celebrate during the winter season, right? During the solstice. And, it's all about inner reflection when you really think about it. It's about pulling in. It's about, I don't want to get too deep here, but you really need to pull in deep and think about what is it really about, and then lean into that rather than buy into this whole spectacle that the holiday season has become in our society. Because I think we as a whole, we have kind of have veered off course of what this season is all about, no matter what your religion is or what your beliefs are. So protect your peace. So if, like you've been carrying the weight of the perfect holiday, then let this be the moment you set it down. Yeah, because you deserve a season that feels peaceful and joyful and doable, and not one that leaves you burnt out or resentful by December 23rd, 24th, even before Christmas, right? You need to let yourself have a simple holiday. Let it be cozy and imperfect and real, because that's the version your family will remember anyways. And I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao.